Good morning. It is Thursday, May the 27th. I'm Shante Seale, and this is the CBC Morning Report. We're starting this morning getting reaction to the CXC press conference yesterday, where council officials announced more changes to the 2021 examinations. CXC Chairman Sir Hilary Beckles and Registrar and CEO Wayne Wesley spoke about the adjustments, which include two major extensions. But how do the changes affect, how do they sit with the teachers and the students? That's what we're going to find out this morning as we hear from the president of the Barbados Secondary Teachers Union, Marianne Redmond, and Khalil Koth-Dawala, a student advocate here in Barbados. I want to say a pleasant good morning to the both of you. But before I get a reaction from them, let's hear what the CXC CEO had to say about the changes and the extensions.
CXC will administer the Caribbean Advanced Proficiency Examination, CAPE, the Caribbean Secondary Examination Certificate, CSEC, and the Caribbean Certificate of Secondary Level Competence, CCSLC, examinations in their original format. That is, for CAPE and CSEC, papers 1, 2, and 3-1, school-based assessment, or paper 3-2 for private candidates, and for CCSLC, papers 1 and 2. Secondly, Council approved the delay of the sitting of the regional examinations by a further 2 weeks. This will provide candidates with extra time to prepare for the examination. The deadline for candidates to register their intent to defer has been further extended to the 31st of May 2021. So candidates will have up until the end of May to indicate their intent to defer their examinations. Fourthly, extension of submission of school-based assessment, SBA. The deadline for submission of SBAs will be extended to 30th June 2021 for all CSEC and CAPE examinations.
Okay, so that's just a snapshot of the changes for the exams for CXC for 2021. Let's hear now from Marianne Redmond, the president of the BSTU, and Khalil Koth-Dawala here with me this morning live on the Morning Report. Good morning to you both.
Good morning, Shane.
Good morning, Shane.
Good morning, Barbados.
A pleasure to have you on. So, all eyes and ears glued to what the CXC officials had to say. You heard the changes, the delays in both the SBAs and generally the sitting of the exams. For you, Mary, did this go far enough?
Well, Shane, actually, the changes referred simply to amendments in deadlines as it relates to submission of SBAs, as it relates to submission of requests for deferral, and as it relates to the actual start of exams. There has been no change in the actual structure and content of the exams. And this was a matter, or rather those are matters of equal concern to us, as well as timing. They are critically important, and we were looking forward to and hoping against hope that CXC would have seen the value and the fairness, the reasonableness of our demands for an adjustment to the structure of papers 1 and 2. That did not happen. So it leaves the children, even though there have been pushback in terms of submission dates, it leaves the children who are actually writing the exams still at a serious disadvantage.
Mary, if you can quickly paint a picture of what you would have liked those changes to look like in terms of the actual probably change in the format of these papers, yes, 1 and 2 with the CXCs.
No, initially we had said that because paper 1 was going to cover the entire syllabus, CXC would not budge from that position. We wanted paper 1, if it was to cover the entire syllabus, to have questions in excess of the 60 questions that the students are required to answer. So at CSEC level, so that, for example, you give them 90 questions to choose 60 from, since you are requiring that that paper cover the whole syllabus. Within a reality that in the majority of cases, students have not, up until now, been able to cover the entire syllabus. Now, if that were not possible, then we were saying that we could remove paper one entirely, because CXC had already set the precedent for the removal of a paper last year when they removed paper two. So in terms of compromising the integrity of the exam, if they claimed it did not do that last year, it should not do that this year. Now, paper two, we asked that, and that is a compulsory paper as well. Every question on that paper has to be done. We asked that, given the realities of the inability to complete the various subject syllabi, we wanted choices in that paper, so students would not have to do every question in the paper. That we thought was a more reasonable and fair approach to paper two. We also thought that no one question should test more than one topic, because normally that happens. So for example, in geography, you may have rivers and you may have volcanicity in one question. We are saying no, one question for each topic, so that it does not disadvantage the students. None of that has happened. CXC has, however, released broad topics in an attempt to guide the children's revision. Now, if you have released broad topics in paper two, in lieu of choices, how can you then in paper one test the whole syllabus and feel comfortable about the fairness of such an exam? That is why we were saying in paper one, either give them a choice with the multiple choice, that is paper one, or remove the paper. Or in that same paper, you could restrict the questions to the same broad topics you have released for paper two. CXC has done none of that. They have retained the compulsory nature of both papers, one covering the entire syllabus and one covering broad topics, in a context where it has been very difficult for children to complete the syllabus. So we have a situation now in reality where children and teachers are now rushing to try and complete syllabuses in the context where they're still trying to complete SBAs, all occurring at a time when they should now be consolidating. So you understand the stress that the children are presently under.
Well, let's hear from Khalil. He was caught up in this whirlwind since last year, very outspoken about the situation affecting students. When you heard the changes, Khalil, what were some of your thoughts? Did they go far enough in your opinion?
Once again, I don't think I was surprised. I'm certainly disappointed, but not surprised. Once again, we failed to meet the moment in presenting students with a false dichotomy. Either we must do exams in the traditional format as we have done it every single year, despite the peculiarities of this year, or students are to ask to defer, which in essence is delaying the progress of their academic journeys. And that is an unnecessarily restrictive choice when we simply could have applied ourselves to a certain creativity of thought, as Ms. Redmond outlined a moment ago, in terms of alternatives that are not without international precedent either. All across the world, you have modifications similar to that in terms of assessment. And so rather than applying ourselves to that, we have put ourselves in this position, and ultimately students are going to be the ones most hurt by it. A fundamental part of exam integrity, Shane, is not only validity and reliability, but also fairness. And a fundamental part of fairness is holding students harmless. And this approach doesn't do that. Since yesterday's press conference, I've spoken with scores of students across the region and in our own country. And they are reeling today from the news yesterday, expecting perhaps after the statement issued by UNICEF that there would be more concessions made. Students have had to endure so much this year thus far, and they feel as though their concerns, their valid concerns, are not being listened to. Parents, of course, were not referenced in yesterday's press conference, and so parents, as important stakeholders, feel a certain level of disrespect at not being recognized or brought to the table. Miss, certainly you would know Miss Pauline Moore has been a tireless advocate in this regard in the past year, and so we haven't listened to people. The council has not listened to the stakeholders, and therefore they have come to this peculiar position. And ultimately, the individuals most hurt will be the students. And when we think about education as an investment in our future, then we can only see that our countries collectively will stand to be worse off, all the poorer, for the decisions taken today.
Well, Khalil, with that said, do you see, because you spoke to students across the region, do you think that you're going to go to the streets again in protest for those changes that were not made? Because it's clear that the students and the teachers are not satisfied with the stance taken by the Caribbean Examinations Council.
All right, Shane, all options really and truly are on the table. It's something that we have now to discuss in further detail in the coming days. But we are not in any way, shape, or form pleased. And we've made that displeasure known, and we will continue to do so. As I said, we have a fundamental responsibility to look after the best interests of all of us as students. And it is to that goal that we will ultimately pursue. You know, the chairman of CXC was quite right, Mr. Hilary Beckles, when he said that the Caribbean people have had to be resilient in the face of unspeakable atrocities throughout our history. And certainly we find it deeply regrettable that today our own Caribbean brothers and sisters who are empowered in positions of leadership are indeed subjecting us to what Faith Marshall Harris said on your own television station was effectively child abuse. And we find that to be deeply regrettable.
Wow. Those are really serious comments when we look at this situation as a whole. Mary, before you go, I know that we were monitoring the COVID-19 situation at 2 primary schools here. It appears that there was another COVID scare. What is the BSTU's take on it, and what do you see happening over the next few days? What do you want to see happen?
Well, the BSTU is obviously monitoring this situation very, very closely, both in the interest of students and teachers, because it is clear that contrary to what had been thought generally by persons before, that children seemed less vulnerable to the virus. In the first month of the restarting of face-to-face instruction, we have had about 4 cases of COVID infection among children. This is worrisome to us because it is showing that, in fact, children are now more susceptible, and this English variant is known to more readily infect the youth. And so we are keeping a very, very close eye on this. We are advising our teachers to maintain the 6-foot distancing in the classroom that the union has advised them to do, and that we have advised the Ministry of Education that we are not moving away from in terms of that protocol. And we are advising the teachers to constantly adhere to the protocols and, as best they can, encourage the children to do so. The children are very reluctant to adhere to the protocols. It is a very draining process. The teachers have complained to get them to properly wear masks, to wear the mask at the times that they should, to social distance, because the children like to congregate, to gather, to be close together.
Understood.
And that is a problem. As well as transportation, what is happening in the public transport system as it relates to the movement of children from school to their homes and vice versa. And it is something we are monitoring very, very closely. It is very worrisome to us.
Well, we will get the details from you as they unfold, Mary. Thank you so much for coming and sharing with us this morning. You as well, Khalil Kothdawala, a student advocate, and really doing his best to advocate for the rights of students right across the region. You both stay safe until next time, because I'm sure there are many more conversations to be had.
Thank you, Shane, for the opportunity.
Thank you, Shane.
Appreciate your time. We'll take a break here and come back with those local, regional, and international COVID-19 updates. Let's now look at the local COVID-19 numbers, and 4 new cases of COVID-19 were identified from among 565 tests conducted by the Best Dos Santos Public Health Laboratory. There are now 42 people in isolation, and Barbados has now recorded 4,004 confirmed cases of COVID-19. 47 people have died from the viral illness. Since February last year, the Public Health Lab has conducted 167,591 tests. Meanwhile, a total of 76,523 people have been vaccinated under the National Vaccination Program, with 56,691 receiving both doses of the COVID-19 vaccine. Over in Trinidad and Tobago, the government there is urging non-essential businesses to stop trying to get around the COVID-19 public health regulations. Authorities are concerned about an uptick of both small and large food establishments offering pre-packed meals. We hear more in this report from TTT.
Energy Minister Stuart Young says government is aware that many non-essential businesses have been attempting to get around and also break the regulations, and believes this continued movement of people may lengthen the time to get back to a phased reopening, since the main goal at this time is to get infections to a minimum.
They think they're trying to beat the regulations in back rooms, carrying out e-commerce, trying to do deliveries or asking persons to pick up. By definition, that increases the movement, and it can be contributing to why we're not seeing the numbers go down as quickly as we would like.
Trade and Industry Minister Paula Gopi-Skoon says she understands restaurants have been doing what they can to keep workers employed, but says even pre-packaging food to sell in supermarkets could have negative effects.
Number one, you're bringing out your employees when this is against the regulations. That's one wrong. And the second wrong is now you're taking that into supermarkets and you're adding another train of traffic.
Mr. Young notes even furniture and appliance stores have been offering online and delivery services, which should not be done during this time. He says the e-commerce aspect as well as curbside pickup would be considered when there's a phased reopening. The ministers met with members of the business community on Wednesday, including several chambers, the manufacturing and contracting sector, DOMA, as well as the Supermarkets Association.
Now on Thursdays, there's always a special focus on young people right here on Morning Barbados. We'll hear from Pearson, hear what he has in store for you on today's edition of the show.
Today we have a very special focus on young people who are doing exceptional things. It's Thursday after all, one of who is Rivaldo Leacock. What's become of him? We get to meet up with him today to find out what's been going on, where is he now and what's he about. And a young lady who's just completed her LLB. She has a laser-sharp focus on regional integration and being able to advocate for small island developing states. You know her because she's grown up literally before your very eyes. Those are just some we'll meet today on Morning Barbados when you join me in just about 10 minutes. Back to you, Sheen.
Thank you so much, Pearson. Now, there are big things in store for the island's rum industry. You'll hear all about that after the break. Extensive research is to be done on Barbados rum. The University of the West Indies at Cave Hill is partnering with a local rum company to conduct studies related to the scientific, technical, economic and business histories of the product. The UWI Cave Hill campus and R.L. Seale and Company Limited have signed a memorandum of understanding for the research which will be undertaken by the Department of History and Philosophy. Retiring Principal Professor the Most Honorable Mornin Barbados says the MOU also supports Barbados's UNESCO World Heritage Nomination Project on Industrial Heritage of the island.
This is a serial nomination that Barbados will present for consideration by the World Heritage Committee within the next 5 years. The project is being undertaken by the very vibrant Department of History and Philosophy. And I just would like us to pause here and congratulate the Department of History and Philosophy and the Faculty of Humanities and Education. They are doing wonderful work. And that work they're doing is part of the commitment to developing research on Barbados's history and heritage at the undergraduate and the postgraduate levels. And dare I say, sharing it with the campus and wider community.
And the executive chair of R.L. Seale and Company Limited, Richard Seale, says the research will support the provenance and authenticity of Barbados rum.
What you have is a very highly value-added product. So this is a product which I believe is going to be a very important part of our future economic success at Barbados. And we've not really tapped its full potential. One of the things that we're working on as well is a geographical indication for Barbados rum. And this will protect Barbados rum to protect the standards to which it's made, protect the use of local know-how, protect that it's aged and bottled here.
As Barbados and other Caribbean countries take steps to reduce greenhouse emissions, they're being told their economies stand to benefit greatly from the renewable energy sector. This is the view of the Assistant Secretary General of the United Nations Climate Action Team, Selwyn Hart. He was speaking at a Clinton Global Initiative Action Network webinar.
At present, most of the islands import diesel, and this accounts for about 30% of government revenues and foreign exchange earnings. Investing in renewable energy is a win-win solution across the economy. It creates good, clean, and decent jobs. It eases the foreign exchange burden on all of these economies, and it also reduces the cost of electricity to end users and consumers, and it also improves the competitiveness of these economies.
On the international scene now, a Dutch court has ordered oil giant Shell to cut its carbon emissions by nearly 50% by 2030. Greenpeace and Friends of the Earth brought the case, and it is being hailed as a significant victory for environmentalists.
We can safely say it's a groundbreaking judgment. And what it does mean is that Shell has a legal obligation to do its share against climate change.
So human rights here are at stake. Can you explain what that
means? Yes, so indeed, against the Dutch state in 2018 and 2019, the court here in The Hague said that the Dutch state can violate human rights by not doing enough against climate change. So that human rights can be impacted by dangerous climate change was already sort of, set in stone. But now that these human rights obligations equally apply to private entities such as Shell, that is actually quite groundbreaking.
And what does that mean? Does Shell have to completely overhaul its business now for 2030 because they have to cut 45%, nearly half of their emissions?
Exactly. So the court said that in 2030, Shell has to cut 45% of its emissions compared to the year 2019. And not only has Shell to cut its own emissions, but it also must do its best to reduce emissions of it's consumers using Shell's products.
So including people driving cars,
Exactly.
getting gasoline.
Yes, exactly.
So they have to go completely renewable then in a very short period of time.
Well, that is likely. The court said it's not an obligation of absolute emission reduction, so they can also compensate perhaps in a way so that it's net, a net reduction in the end.
In sports, we're hearing that special attention will be placed on the batting department as the West Indies gear up to face South Africa in the two-test series starting next month over in St. Lucia. Speaking to CBC Sports, the Windies assistant coach Roddy Estwick says more players are now fighting for places in the starting 11, which is a good sign. The regional side has not won a home test series against the Proteas since 1992. But are off to a good start in 2021, winning the series against Bangladesh 2-0 and then drawing the home series against Sri Lanka. Additionally, the Windies have moved up the ICC Test ranking to number 6 in the world, their best position since 2013.
Once you've got competition in places, things become a little bit more difficult, and people then realize they have to perform. It's been really heartening in the last 2 test matches. The last test match, especially to see Craig Brathwaite get up to 4,000 test runs, got a century in the first innings and 80 out in the second innings, and only become the 5th Barbadian to pass 4,000 test runs. So that's heartening for us, and he's the leader as well as the team. And the players who now, there's so much competition for places. When you look at Ralston Chase, who's got 5 test hundreds, didn't play in the test series. Darren Bravo, who's got 8 test hundreds, he didn't play either, and Shamar Brooks, who's got a test 100. So we've got players on the outside, you know, and players now know that they've got to perform, and they can't not perform, otherwise they'll be replaced. So it's heartening to see the batting coming along. John Campbell hasn't had the scores that he would like, but the way he's setting up and the way he's hitting the ball, I'm sure big performances just around the corner.
Time now for a look at the weather. It's 28 degrees already, and it's feeling a little warmer. The apparent temperature stands at 30 degrees Celsius this morning. It's partly cloudy on the outside with the relative humidity standing at 65%. The barometric pressure, 1015 millibars, is where it is right now, and those winds are blowing out of the east at 34 kilometers per hour. We'll see a low tide around 29 minutes to 11 this morning. A high tide will come our way later in the afternoon at 8 minutes after 5. Looking at the seas now, they are calm to moderate in open water. Swells are around 2 meters and expected to increase. It will be partly sunny today in Barbados with a few brief scattered light showers. And tonight it will be partly cloudy with a few brief scattered light showers. Much of the same over the Lesser Antilles today. Partly cloudy to cloudy it will be there with the occasional brief scattered light shower. And then tonight it will be partly cloudy to occasionally cloudy over the Lesser Antilles with a few brief scattered light showers. Internationally, the picture not looking too bad at all. Up to 29 in Miami and the sun is out there, and in Frankfurt and in Montreal as well. In London, partly cloudy skies. That's what's happening there, and all double digits. In Boston and New York, though, you're getting some precipitation, but still double digits, so not looking too bad internationally as far as the temperature goes. And that's it for this edition of the Morning Report. I'm Shante Seale. Mornin Barbados starts now.
Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Barbados, get up. Good morning. Good morning, Barbados. Good morning. Good morning to you. Good morning. Morning, morning, morning. Good morning to you. Good morning. Morning, Barbados. Good morning. Good morning to you. Good morning. Morning.
A terrific today to all. Welcome everyone to Morning Barbados for today, Thursday, the 27th of May, 2021. I'm Pearson Bowen, welcoming you also on our Facebook stream at CBC Barbados and Morning Barbados, and also to those of you viewing us on our YouTube channel, Caribbean Broadcasting Corporation. It's Thursday, and that's the one day that our hearts soar when we meet some of our very exceptional young people, like this one we're introducing you to now. This young man, whose name is Andre Field, who used sport to propel him into his chosen career, and he's giving back as well. Andre, good morning to you.
Hey, good morning, Pearson. Good morning, Barbados.
Thank you so much for joining us, Andre. Reflect on your life for just a moment and what sport has done for you. What would you say that to be?
So sport has provided an outlet for me to relax a bit, and I believe that would have helped me towards being better in school, being able to balance the two. As you know, they say all work and no play makes Jack a dull boy. For me, doing my work and then being able to express my frustrations from doing the work through sport, mainly football, really helped me a lot in life.
So, I like the way you express that. Express your frustrations through sport, mainly football. Now, you would have gone to the Combermere School, and while there, you got actively involved in football, so much so that you, at 16 years old, were able to compete at a higher level. So talk to me a little bit about that experience at that very young age.
Yeah, so for me, I was able to play Division I and Premier League football at a very young age, and again, being able to play with the older guys and the guys I looked up to, such as Norman Ford and Ken Roy Skinner and those guys, it really gave me a sense of enthusiasm towards trying to be a better footballer and trying to get to the level of representing Barbados.
And you actually did that. You represented Barbados, but you also captained with the Barbados Soccer Academy. What was it that led you into the academy?
Well, I actually didn't represent Barbados. I went to a few trials, but unfortunately I didn't make the final cut. But in terms of representing the Barbados Soccer Academy, for me, being able to captain the academy and seeing the vision that the academy had was a really good feeling. And I wanted to be able to at least achieve the goal of obtaining a scholarship, or at least being offered a scholarship, which I think I achieved that goal, as I was offered a partial scholarship to Caldwell College in the US.
And then what decision did you make, having been offered this scholarship?
Well, unfortunately, I did not take the opportunity because at the time, it was a partial scholarship, and at that time, I didn't want to put the pressure on my parents to have to be funding the other half of it. I guess I didn't want to pressure them into breaking their pockets, for lack of better words.
I got you, and there you were, the shortest of the bunch in that photograph you just shared on the screen. So, with all of that said, there you are, folks, right there. The little short one is Andre. With all of that said, you went off then to the University of the West Indies at Cape Hill, and you completed your degree. Tell us, in what area did you complete?
The accounting, I completed my degree in accounting, the accounting special, it was called at the time, and I obtained first class honors in that field.
Congratulations on that one. But something tells me something significant happened in 2012 when you guys, I want to reflect on that one for a moment, when you guys were heading off to Trinidad. So talk to me when you went off to a tour in Trinidad in 2012, if you can remember all of that now.
Well, the details are a bit fuzzy, but in 2012, I remember I was the captain of the team, and we went off to Trinidad, where in one of the games, I actually scored a hat trick. The tour was a very fun tour, and I was hoping to get a little bit more from it, but that didn't happen.
But something happened on the night before. Do you recall that funny incident that happened? How wicked you boys were?
Not necessarily. I mean, I was the leader of the group, so I was the good one. in the group. So I don't know about anything which happened.
I heard a story of ham and what happened to the ham on the night before the tour.
I was not involved. I definitely was not involved.
Oh, so you're pleading innocence now, right? You're one of the good ones.
Yep.
Listen, the story is told that these guys, there was a ham prepared and baked, and these guys, while the coaches and the managers were asleep, all got up and ate all the ham. So on the following morning, when the managers and the coaches got up, there was no ham because these youngsters took care of all of that. And you're shaking your head in innocence.
I was definitely not involved in that.
Fair enough, Andre. So at university, you took on the course of study in accounting, and now you're a certified accountant. That must mean so much to you. What did you see yourself while at Combermere using sport and leveraging yourself to be able to achieve what you've achieved so far?
Well, yes, because at Combermere we are always taught to be well-rounded as individuals. So yes, I would say that I mean I always saw myself being an accountant, and I wanted to go that route. Football at school and through the academy would have helped me to become more of a leader.
Mm-hmm.
I was the captain of the academy, as I said earlier. I was also the captain of the Combermere football team in my final year, and I was also the head boy at Combermere. So these things would have helped me to become a better leader towards my career.
There have, along the way, been many people who have invested in you, personal time and so forth. Have you given consideration to giving back based upon what's been given to you? And if so, what are you doing?
Yes, I have. So, for example, I was helping out with coaching Combermere like soon after I left theirs. When I coached the under-19 team along with Mr. Michael Small, that year we actually went to the final. Unfortunately, we lost to St. Leonard's.
Mm-hmm.
I also went back to the academy to coach the academy as well, where I went to, I did one year coaching there, where we went to the finals in 2 competitions. One we won, the Banks tournament, and then the Barbados Cup, we lost that final.
There are parents today who are concerned, you know, every little boy dreams of growing up to be a famous footballer. So we're all outside running around, kicking around the ball. And then there are parents who at some stage say, come inside, you have courses of study to do. And they're concerned about that balance between the love of sport and heading on to your academics. What advice would you give to that kind of parent today who's having that kind of battle with that young boy?
Well, for me, my parents didn't have to tell me, oh, too much sport or too much academics, because I was able to balance both. But normally I would tell them, just let the kids follow their dreams. Obviously, you want them to have an education to fall back on. But if you try to stifle them from the sport, it may actually not be helpful to them being forced to do solely work.
In terms of recommending the Barbados Soccer Academy, what would you say?
I would recommend it 100% because the vision of the Soccer Academy is not only to have the guys playing football. The goal is to try to obtain scholarships for its players. I think so far we have we've obtained 36 scholarships and probably have another 3 in the pipeline. So yes, I would give them a very high recommendation as a football club.
What would you describe as your personal goal, Andre?
Well, my personal goal is hopefully to become a CFO or a CEO. I mean, I have a background dream of being a sports agent, football agent, but I think that one is a bit out of reach right now, but yeah.
So to be the chief financial officer or the chief executive officer of your own company, perhaps?
Well, to be fair, I did start a business with 2 other friends a few years ago, and so technically I would say I'm one of the top directors at that business. So no, I mean, I'll probably reach a bit higher than that to be one of the world-renowned. Even if here in Barbados, we still have a few companies which are recognized worldwide.
Quite global indeed. Andre Field, we are very proud of you. Today we wanted to recognize you as one of our exceptional young people who's been able to use sport to leverage himself, as you've just described, to be a global citizen, hopefully one day to be a leader in a big, significant firm as well. But you're doing very, very well so far. So Andre Field, well done. Congratulations to all of you for all that you've achieved thus far. And something tells us all you're going to achieve even greater. And we want to be along the way with you. Still quite young, 31 years old, and there's a lot more ahead of you. So thank you so much, Andre Field, for joining us.
Yes, thank you. And I just want to say a few thanks to Comamere. As you can see, I'm actually repping.
Yeah, I forgive you. I forgive you.
Jersey.
I forgive you.
So I just want to say thanks for Comamere on the behalf of the academy, because that's really where it started for us, being able to train at the Comamere grounds. Thanks to the National Sports Council as well for helping with the technical side of things. And then I just want to say a general thanks to the government of Barbados for being able to control the COVID situation to a point where our guys, our local football team, is able to now train to be able to compete in the upcoming tournament, the World Cup tournament, the World Cup qualifiers. And so I just want to say a general thank you for them, as well as the Sandy Lane Charitable Trust, who obviously would have helped provide donations and stuff for the government. So,
thank you so much, Andre. Thank you for that as well. Have a great day.
Thank you. You too.
Likewise, thanks. All right, we're back after this break. We're meeting exceptional young people today, Thursday. It's now 15 minutes to go to the hour of 7. Another one of those exceptional young men is Ian Lucas. Ian, good morning to you.
Hey, good morning, Pearson. Thanks for having me.
You're very welcome. You've kicked your way through the Barbados Soccer Academy onto becoming who you are today. Talk to me a little bit about that experience with the Barbados Soccer Academy.
Well, the Barbados Soccer Academy offered me the opportunity to play football, do something that I love, while trying to get a scholarship at a university overseas. I think that's a very good initiative that they actually have. It gives students, the opportunity to do things that they love while pursuing education as well. So I think that's a good idea.
Did you get the scholarship?
Unfortunately, no. Maybe I was too skinny at the time. But yeah, it's something that Mr. Bevell always, pushed us. The importance of having education, correct diet, and, just giving your best at all times. That's something that, we will stress upon Mr. Bevell.
So one's size is a prerequisite really for that kind of scholarship?
Well, not technically, but when you actually compare our physique compared to the other international players at that age, we tend to be a little smaller than they are. But, sometimes it's not all about the size. It can be your skill as well. And, I guess at that point I was not up to a certain level.
So why didn't you do anything about it?
I wish I took things more seriously in terms of hitting the gym back then. But, that's something that you learn as you go through life.
But any regrets, though, not having received that scholarship through the Barbados Soccer Academy at the time?
No, not really. I think being at the soccer academy, I actually learned a lot more. It taught me to be a leader. I attended a Commerce school like Andre would have just mentioned as well. I also captained at youth level and at the Barbados Soccer Academy. So, it helps you to deal with persons of all different walks of life, and it builds leadership qualities being at the soccer academy.
Are you still playing football, by the way?
I would say no.
Other things have taken priority.
Yes, correct.
But eventually you did go on to complete your studies. Where did you go?
Yes, so after not obtaining the scholarship, I attended the University of Western East, Cape Hill campus, where I obtained an accounting special degree similar to Andre. And then from there on, I actually pursued an MBA in finance, specializing in credit management. So I think I did pretty well.
Yeah, I think you've done very well, as a matter of fact, come to think of it. And you're still very young. And so there you are as a credit manager now, and you're able now to use what you've learned and the opportunity provided you through sport. While at university, did you also get to play the game of football, that game that you love so much?
Yes, of course, definitely. Football is a big part of my life. I'm still a very big fan of the game. I follow it whenever I get the opportunity. And, it gives you that outlet to, not to be so focused on work all the time. It gives you that way to express yourself. And, as Andre would have said, to relieve some of the stresses of life through playing.
I've always wondered how it is, though, growing up in a house where you're so passionate about a particular sport, and then your parents look at you and say, hold on, get inside. Did you have that kind of experience with your parents?
Well, I can say I was one of the fortunate students not to really have parents so hard on me in terms of the game. They would let me express myself, let me go and play. I think it's very important for parents to do that. At Combermere, going back there was a stress on finding the right balance between academics and sport. And I think they meshed both well together to help me be the person I am today.
There are some people who find it difficult, though, to focus while in sport. Also, what are you laughing at?
I'm laughing at that photograph.
At the photograph? Where are you? Let's see. Are you in the back row, the front row? Where are you?
I am the one on the right. Well, will be, and
at the extreme right, standing?
Yes, yes.
Those big pants.
And the big pants. Might have times changed.
At least you can look back now and recognize that yes, times have indeed changed. But yes, being able to have a passion for a particular sport and still also be focused in your academics, was that how challenging or not was that for you?
I don't think it was challenging because of my upbringing. I was always able to express myself, and being given the opportunity to play sport while studying was something that I think of myself as a fairly focused person. So I know when to, compartmentalize what needs to be done at a given time. So I think, it helped me in good stead going forward.
It's a discipline, and
yes,
that discipline you fortunately had. Can it be taught to young boys today, the discipline of which you speak?
Yes, I think it can, and I think the Soccer Academy greatly aided in that. Mr. Bavel has done an exceptional job in stressing the importance of education and sport, and using it as a vehicle to further your studies. And everyone may not be the best footballer in the world or be able to get a scholarship, but it gives you that opportunity and builds that camaraderie, and it prepares you for life. Because you may not get everything you want, but if it's one thing that COVID has taught us, is that we must all have, a backup plan, something to not, I think the old people say not to put all your eggs in one basket. So, it's good to diversify, have a secondary skill, always have something to fall back on, and nothing better to fall back on than having a solid education.
Yeah, because football is indeed a team sport, even though we can have some very outstanding individual players.
Yes,
so when
indeed.
you look at the strategy of the game and you look at the strategy of your life, how does it compare?
Well, I can say when it comes to football, the strategy of my life is always to have a plan. Okay, things may not always go according to plan, but you have to set up certain contingencies in order to execute if things don't go accordingly. So I think in football that is similar, and I think I've structured my life in that way, and I think I've done a pretty decent job, but there's always room for improvement going forward.
There's concern that some of our young men of society are being led astray and are behaving in ways that we find unsavory. Would you recommend football as one of those ways to address that situation? And what advice would you also want to give to any young man today watching who's struggling with finding his footing?
Well, I can give a personal experience. When I was younger, I'd say around the ages of 18, 19, when I first joined the academy, at that age you don't tend to quite understand which direction you may want to go in. However, find yourself a mentor. Talk to people. Like, football is a good avenue where you can express yourself. And at the soccer academy, I think that they offer a great opportunity for persons that age to do well in the actual sport and progress their studies. So to me, I think the advice I would give, talk to someone, find a mentor, try to stay focused. It's not the end of the world. Everyone has gone through it. I have gone through it. Other persons have done so as well, and they come out well in the end.
Have you taken time to paint your future and to get a global view of what that might look like? And if so, what do you see for you?
Okay, well, I started in credit management, but I would like to be a general manager someday at a company. In terms of future, I'd like to start a family, just simple things in life. I'm not too fussed. I'm a pretty simple guy. And, just put all the experiences that I've had and learned from them to develop myself to become a better individual and member of society.
Very laudable, but why would you want to become a general manager?
I just like the entire, I would say I'm a controller person. But yeah, I like to work on things and see things develop, and once I put 100% into something, I like to see things grow and prosper. So that's something I like to do.
With that said, you could have been a farmer because things will grow.
I don't have a green thumb. I don't have a green thumb at all.
Here's a brother. Neither do I, quite frankly. Describe for me how you see the performance of the Barbados football team today, now that you've been through it and you can now stand at the sidelines and watch a little bit. What do you see?
Well, what I can say, from 10 years ago, I always have this argument with some friends of mine, but I think the level of coaching and the technical ability of the players now is a lot better than previous years. I think we're evolving as a team, and I think it's the right direction that we're going in right now. And kudos to the team right now. I think they're going through World Cup qualifying. And I think that they have a good chance once they, keep their heads on and execute.
Doesn't the bug bite you though? You stand there, you think, I should have, if had it been me. Don't you go through all of those experiences while you're watching?
Maybe 10 years ago. but I think that ship has sailed. Ship has sailed a while ago. But, I'm still a huge fan of the game. I still follow it a lot. And I will always give, whatever advice I can give to the younger players that age. Take very good care of your health, work out, exercise. And if you want to make it, you have to be 100% dedicated to that. And it is something that, can hold you in good stead going forward.
At least you're honest. You're honest. Your ship has sailed, if you think so.
Long time.
Long time. Probably at the end of the horizon by now. So for sure,
Yep.
you know, your horizon, though, is still quite long for us as far as we see it, Ian Lucas, because you're still quite young, and there's a lot of things that you still have to achieve, and we know you will achieve it. And so we want to wish you today only the very best with all of your future endeavors, because for us, you're one of our exceptional young people as well. And we recognize you. We now have shared you with the whole world, because now they know who you are and what you've been able to achieve and what your goals are as well. So Ian Lucas, all the best to you for the future.
Thank you, sir.
You're very welcome.
Have a great day.
Likewise, Ian Lucas, who's just joined us, he's a credit manager now, but football has really done a lot for him. And he's been happy to commend to all of you the use of sport as part of your development, using that footprint of what a team sport is to assist you in your life team sport as well. All right. We'll take a look now at our good decision of the day. It is brought to you by Glucerna. Glucerna, of course, providing you with the nutrients to support your immune system. What's that good decision today? It says making decisions. So, what can't you take? What can't you take? Decide which of the two options is harder and do the other. That way, no matter how hard your choice turns out to be, at least you can find comfort in knowing you've avoided something even worse. I like that. In making your decisions, what is it that you just can't take? Decide which of those two options is harder, then do the other. There are always consequences. That way, no matter how hard your choice turns out to be, at least you can find comfort in knowing you're avoiding something even worse. I've always said there are consequences to every action. Weigh those consequences. The ones with which you can live, that's your decision. The ones with which you cannot live, that's not the decision to take. So consider them all. Weigh the balances. That's our good decision of the day today, brought to you by Glucerna, with those nutrients to support your immune system. We're going to take a break right here. When we come back, more of our exceptional youth, but also the news.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you. Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Still to come, we've met already two former students of the Combermere School. We'll also meet two former students of the Christchurch Foundation School, one of who came by way of the Leicester-Vaughan School. They're both athletes and they are both exceptional. We'll also meet a young lady from the Springer Memorial School. I know for a lot of you, knowing which school they've been to means a lot, because you want to hail for those who continue to represent your alma mater. So she'll too join us right here on Morning Barbados to share her story as an inspiring young person. And then that young lady who grew up literally before our eyes. She's now a woman and she's making big dreams and she's going to be doing big things. All of that and a whole lot more straight ahead right here on Morning Barbados. But the time is now 7 o'clock. It's time for us to bring you an update in news. Once again, here's Shante Seale.
Yes, here's your 7 a.m. headline news for this morning. And the Barbados Secondary Teachers Union is not satisfied with the changes announced by the Caribbean Examinations Council for the 2021 examinations and is prepared to take action on behalf of the students. In yesterday's CXC press conference, the registrar and the CEO of the council, Wayne Wesley, revealed the dates for the exams and submission dates for the SBAs have been pushed back. Reacting to the news, the BSTU president, Marianne Redmond, has made clear that's not enough, as no real changes have been made to benefit the students.
Actually, the changes referred simply to amendments in deadlines as it relates to submission of SBAs, as it relates to submission of requests for deferral, and as it relates to the actual start of exams. There has been no change in the actual structure and content of the exams. And this was a matter, or rather those are matters of equal concern to us, as well as timing. They are critically important, and we were looking forward to and hoping against hope that CXC would have seen the value and the fairness, the reasonableness of our demands for an adjustment to the structure of papers 1 and 2. That did not happen. So it leaves the children, even though there have been pushback in terms of submission dates, it leaves the children who are actually writing the exams still at a serious disadvantage.
Meanwhile, student advocate Khalil Kothdawala has made clear that the students are not ruling out another round of protest action against the CXC, as in their opinion, the council has not addressed the main concerns of the students, teachers and parents.
All options really and truly are on the table. It's something that we have now to discuss in further detail in the coming days, but we are not in any way, shape or form pleased. And we've made that displeasure known, and we will continue to do so. As I said, we have a fundamental responsibility to look after the best interests of all of us as students, and it is to that goal that we will ultimately pursue.
4 new cases of COVID-19 were identified from among 565 tests conducted by the Best dos Santos Public Health Laboratory. There are now 42 people in isolation. Barbados has recorded 4,004 confirmed cases of COVID-19. Meanwhile, 47 people have died from the viral illness. Since February last year, the Public Health Lab has conducted 167,591 tests. Meanwhile, a total of 76,523 people have been vaccinated under the National Vaccination Program, with 56,691 people receiving both doses of the vaccine. Now, as Barbados and other states globally confront challenges brought on by the coronavirus, Prime Minister Mia Moore-Motley has made a call for countries to prepare for a pandemic plan for antimicrobial resistance. She was at the time addressing the opening of the 88th Annual General Session of the World Assembly of National Delegates to the World Organization for Animal Health. According to the Bajan leader, the One Health approach is needed in the global effort to combat what she termed as the slow-moving pandemic of AMR.
The overuse and the abuse of antimicrobials in humans, in animals, and in agriculture has driven up resistance in the microorganisms that these medicines are meant to fight. The lack of effective regulation, the excessive use of antibiotics as growth promoters in animals, and the rise in counterfeit antimicrobials further exacerbate this situation. My friends, AMR threatens to make redundant the medicines that we rely on to keep our animals and our plants healthy. This threat is not an academic one, but a real threat, as our public health and veterinary laboratories are regularly detecting antibiotic-resistant strains of common bacterial pathogens.
The Prime Minister also shared a number of measures that can be adopted in the fight against the drug-resistant infections.
Responsible, sustainable access to and use of antimicrobials, the promotion of vaccines where possible, implementing biosecurity measures on farms and the use of sanitary and responsible farming practices. All of these are effective measures that must be employed to mitigate against drug-resistant infections. The challenges, yes, are complex and multifaceted, but they are not insurmountable if we act in solidarity and if we commit to doing so from today.
And that's your 7 a.m. headline news. I'm Shante Seale. Back over to you, Pearson.
Thank you, Shane. 6 minutes after 7 o'clock now. After the break, you'll get a chance to call me and answer today's Crumbs question of the day after this.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you. Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
It is 8 minutes now after 7 o'clock. Time for today's Crumbs question of the day. We get to talk. Yeah, man. You give me a call on 228-5562 or 228-5563 to answer correctly today's Crumbs question of the day. Should you win something absolutely delicious from Crumbs Bakery. Here we go. The question is, get on the phone. What can you get from Crispies in Speightstown that you cannot get from Crispies in Fairchild Street? You would have had to go to both. What can you get from Crispies in Speightstown that you cannot get from Crispies in Fairchild Street? Come, let me talk. 228-5562 or 228-5563. We got a caller, bold as you are. Good morning to you. Hello.
Good morning.
Hi, how are you?
Fine, thank you. And you?
I'm very well, thank you for asking. Do you have an answer for me?
Ice cream?
That's your answer?
Yeah.
You've ever been to Crispies?
No, but I won already in April.
Well, my answer to you is no, you're wrong. Thank you here. Okay, let's take another caller. 228-5562. It's not ice cream. We're asking you the question, what is it that you can get in Crispies at Speightstown that you cannot get at Crispies in Fairchild Street? So 228-5562 or 228-5563. Those are the numbers to call. You're going to win. You're going to win. Guaranteed something really delicious from Crumbs Bakery. Remember, Crumbs is delicious right down to the very last crumb. So do we have someone there? 228-5562 or 228-5563. What is it that you can get from Crispies in Speightstown that you cannot get from Crispies in Fairchild Street? It ain't hard. Trust me, it's not that difficult. When you hear it, you're going to go like, you know what, that's true. That's quite true. But you must have first, I suppose, experienced both Crispies Speightstown and Crispies Fairchild Street. Good morning to you. Hello.
Morning to you. Hello. Morning to you. Hello. Morning to you.
Morning to you. Hello. Good morning. All right, let's try that again. 228-5562 or 228-5563. Those are the only numbers for you to call. Tell me now, what is it that you can get from Crispies in Speightstown that you cannot get from Crispies in Fairchild Street? What is it? The answer is not ice cream. So 228-5562 or 228-5563, the numbers to call. Good morning.
Blessings. It's coffee.
You're guessing.
It's coffee.
You're guessing?
Pierces, it's coffee.
Yes?
It's coffee.
You're guessing? You're sticking with that answer?
Yes, please.
You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. The answer, da-da-da-da, coffee. Coffee is absolutely right. Gail, I recognize the voice. Gail, you stay right there on the phone. We'll take some other information from you. So Gail correctly says to us and to you that it is coffee that you can get at Speightstown. You're not going to get coffee at Fairchild Street. So if you love the coffee, head to Speightstown's branch of Crispy's Fried Chicken. You get it there. You will not get coffee at Fairchild Street. That's our Crumbs question today. We'll have another Crumbs question tomorrow and another chance for you to win with Crumbs. Remember, Crumbs is delicious. That's my word. Right down to the very last crumb. So more at 11 minutes, heading to 12 minutes after 7 of our exceptional young people this morning. Let me introduce you to this alumna of the Christchurch Foundation School. Her name is Hannah Connell. Hannah, good morning to you.
Good morning.
Oh, you sound so bright and chirpy so early in the morning. Hannah, how are you doing?
I'm doing great today.
Oh, that's wonderful to hear. Are you in Barbados or are you overseas?
I'm in the United States right now in Fort Dodge.
All right. What are you doing there?
Just finished up school, so I'm just, staying here until I'm ready to come back to Barbados, basically.
Do you want to come back to Barbados?
I do. I definitely do.
Why do you want to come back so eagerly to Barbados?
Because that is where I reside. That is my hometown, and I have not been home since for 2 years now. So yes, I want to come back home.
Wow! So it's been 2 years since you've been on this soil. How do you deal with that, though?
I would say it was hard, but I had to deal with it because there was no other alternative. So.
Yeah, I know. You just can't wait to hug mommy, right?
Yeah, I can't wait.
All right, so let's talk a little bit. Why is it that you're overseas? What took you there?
Well, I received a scholarship from the Iowa Central Community College, so that's why I'm here.
Mm-hmm. And you came by way of Christchurch Foundation School. So while at Christchurch Foundation School, people remember you on the track. What events were you really, really good at on the track?
I would say I was focused on the hurdles and the sprints. That's what I was doing then.
Mm-hmm. So much so that you became outstanding at those as well and won many Vitreous Durham titles and also held the division title, didn't you?
Yes, I did.
You still hold that record?
Where?
At Christchurch Foundation School.
Yes, no, there's no record at Christchurch.
Oh, there's no record there? Okay.
No.
But then you headed off to university, and while at university there, you were able now to also compete in those pet events of yours. How did you do?
I'd say it was successful through my 2 years here. I was able to achieve my first outdoor title, considering that last year we didn't have an outdoor. So this year I was able to win the 100 hurdles, and I also broke the national junior college record.
Wow. Now that's great. So knowing that, I'm sure it brought to you a sense of pride.
Yes, it sure did.
Who was the first person you told when you got the news that you'd broken those records?
The first person I told, that's a good question. The first person I told. Because I'm not one to really share the news as soon as it comes out. I stay humble and quiet, until, it's broadcasted. So, but I would say the first person from what I remember, I think I told my mom. Yeah, my mom.
Everybody runs to mommy. Mommy, guess what? This is what happened. But talk to me a little bit about this, the family support, though, for what you've chosen to do. How has the family rallied around you to support you in your sporting endeavors?
My family has really helped. I had a lot of support all around, from foundation, from my mom, from my dad. Like everybody has chipped in, and I was able to survive out here by myself.
Because you're in a different space with a different culture, meeting different people who view life so differently from how we view it here in Barbados. How was that for you, settling in among all of those differences?
Yes, it was definitely a culture shock at some points in time. It was a lot of different experiences. There are a lot of different systems and changes, that I encountered when I was here. But, I just, stuck with the foundation that I left with, from what I already knew and what I learned. And that took me through.
So what do you know more now about Hannah that you didn't know before you got to where you are now?
I would say that now I know that I had a lot more in me, even academically and on the track. It was just about application and being, responsible and even more determined to achieve my goals.
Boy, that's really great. That experience has really done you well. What's your focus for the Olympics, though? What's that like?
Well, I would say I always had a goal, to qualify for the Olympics. However, it wasn't necessarily my focus when I was competing, because I just wanted to be the best me in that moment. I didn't want to overly stress myself, to reach that standard. However, when I was able to achieve what I achieved, it showed me that even when I was not in my best shape, I was so close to the mark, and that even gave me even more motivation to go after it. So I would say that is what is pushing me to want to reach that goal right now.
Is the coaching, what's the difference between the coaching there and the coaching here in Barbados?
I would say there's no major difference. All I would say is that the difference is, I guess, more access to more facilities and stuff like that.
I'm glad you phrased it that way, simply because oftentimes we think that what we do here is substandard when compared with others. And you were saying, I see you shake your head saying, that's not true. The coaching here, correct, the coaching here is comparable with some of the best coaches we see elsewhere. So, let's support our coaches who are on the island. So what does Hannah have planned for Hannah and Hannah's future?
Well, my future is, to just finish up this season in track, to the best of my ability. I was able to finish up school with my honors, a 3.9 GPA, and now I have a scholarship to the University of South Florida. So I would say there are big hopes for the future, finishing up school and graduating.
So your name will continue to be in the bright lights, Hannah Connell. Well done, indeed. So can I ask a quick question here? While over there, how difficult is it for you to eat like a Barbadian?
It is very difficult. It was very difficult.
What is it you miss?
I definitely miss, the richness and the quality in food that I had back home compared to here. I would definitely say.
I like it. You were so honest. I love it indeed. Did you tell everyone at home that you were going to be on TV this morning in Barbados?
I told a couple of people, yes, I will be on TV this morning.
So who do you know for sure is watching you this morning? Say hi to them.
Well, I would like to say hi to whoever is watching in my family. I appreciate you guys very much.
And you just can't wait to come home.
Yeah, I cannot wait, honestly.
All right. So with all of that said, having gone through school, sometimes, we don't like to see, especially our girls, in sport. You figure girls ought to stay away from those sweaty activities and just look pretty. But that's not you. You're not that kind of a girl, are you?
No.
So to the parent who is saying to their girl child this morning, no, darling, you come inside, you leave that for the boys. What do you say to that parent today? Hannah, did you hear me?
Repeat what you said, sorry. Repeat what you said.
No, I asked you, to that parent who feels that their girl children ought to be inside and not outside at sport, what would you say to that parent?
I would definitely say to that parent, like, if that child is, inspired and driven to do sports, let them do it.
Let them do it. Just let them do it. Hannah Connell, we want to thank you so much for joining us. You are, for us too, one of our exceptional young people. You're already doing exceptionally well, achieving the grade point that you have, and now moving on to the South Florida University. And we know your name will always be etched as one of our excellent people as well. So Hannah Connell, thank you and have a great day. All right, Hannah Connell, one of our exceptional young people this morning. We're going to take a break here. When we come back, your chance to win with the Heart and Stroke Foundation of Barbados in our Childhood Obesity Prevention Quiz.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Go. Another winner coming out of you today. Your chance to call me now on 228-5562 or 228-5563 because in this month of May, Child Month, we're working with the Barbados Heart and Stroke Foundation Childhood Obesity Prevention. In our quiz, as we continue to heighten awareness of good health and nutrition for our children, I have a question. You answered the question, we get to chat just a little bit, and of course you become a winner. So, today's quiz question is, what percentage of water is in the human body? What percentage of water is in the human body? What of water is in the human body? Do you know? 228-5562 or 228-63. What percentage of water is in a human body? 228-5562 or 228-5563. As soon as we get you on the phone, we'll talk for just a little while. Have your answer ready for me. What percentage of water is in a human body? 228-5562 or 228-5563. This is all part of the Heart and Stroke Foundation of Barbados Childhood Obesity Prevention Campaign as we bring greater awareness to good health and nutrition of our children. So, tell me today, what percentage of water is in a human body? 228-5562 or 228-5563. I wouldn't know. Good morning to you. Hello.
Hi, good morning.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good, and you?
I'm very well, thank you for asking. What's your first name?
Camila.
Hello, Camila. That's an interesting first name. It's a little oldish for some people. How old are you, roughly?
I'm 19 years old.
A beautiful name at 19 years old. Camila, do you do any sciences or anything like that?
I'm actually doing hospitality studies.
Oh, you're in hospitality studies. So maybe you can tell me what percentage of water is in a human body. Do you know?
65%.
Don't ask me questions.
The answer is 65%.
You should know me by now. I would always answer you like that. You have to answer me. You think it's 65%?
Yes, please.
You measured it?
If I measure it?
Yeah.
No, I don't. No, I don't.
You don't know how to measure it, right?
Nope.
So how do you stumble upon 65 and not 70 or 85? Why go with that number?
Something from science at school.
At school?
Secondary school.
In the hospitality division?
No, I was at secondary school.
Oh, at secondary school you were taught that. In what subject?
This was integrated science.
And you believed what you were taught.
Oh, well, they're teaching me right.
So you never found out for yourself at all.
Go with what the teacher teach me.
But does that sound like a lot, or does it sound like sufficient?
It's sufficient.
Why do you say so? Because it's what they tell you.
Yeah, I just get what they tell me.
So do you think you drink enough water in a given day?
I don't think so.
At least you're honest. You're honest to a fault. I love that. So how many glasses of water do you think you need to drink in a day?
8.
They taught you that one too. All right, so Camilla, starting today, drink some more water. If not, you will not be at 65%. You don't agree?
No.
And if you're not at 65%, you're dehydrated. And so you need to rehydrate. But you're absolutely right, Camilla. It is indeed 65% of the human body is water. So the majority of who we are is water. So you're absolutely right. Camilla, you stay on the phone right there. Someone will talk to you a little bit further. And of course, you can collect your winnings from here at the CBC between the hours of 9 a.m. and 4 p.m. And of course, you bring some ID, of course. So you stay right there on the phone. Someone will take some more information from you and give you those fine details. So Camilla, well done. You're absolutely right when you said 65% of the body is water. That's the answer today in our Heart and Stroke Foundation of Barbados Childhood Obesity Prevention Quiz.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
It is 29 minutes now after 7 o'clock. All morning long I've been telling you about this young lady who you know because she has literally grown up before our very eyes. I'm not even going to introduce her. Could you bring her picture so everyone sees? I want to show you who she is. Look! Leah Arthur, good morning to you.
Good morning, Pearson. It's a pleasure to be here.
Girl, you have how much pleasure it is for me as well. But good to see you after a little while. All grown up now.
Good to see you too. Yeah, I guess
all the last time I would have said, well, I would not refer to the last time, but I know you've done so much in your short. You're an actor. I've seen you in your productions at school. I've seen you in Just Dance at the Frank Cullimore Hall. You are just so expressive. And now, would you believe it, folks? She's a lawyer.
Yes,
what a funk. Congratulations, you've finished your LLB.
Yes, please. It was a very, very strenuous 3 years.
Wow. So talk to me a little bit about that. How really difficult was it?
I mean, obviously, it was a difficult transition from the beginning because moving from the Barbados to the UK. But just within the education system itself, it's a very, very different education system. But what I would say is my education at Queen's College stroke Cape really, really prepared me for what I have today.
So, you know, I'm still stunned at how far you've achieved so far, because you're the little girl who we saw beside the Prime Minister Owen Arthur, now deceased, and your mother Julie, everywhere. And then here is now, she is an attorney at law.
Not Not yet.
Soon, man. We already prophesied. So, but why law?
I mean, I've always been interested in social justice and being able to represent people speak for themselves. So obviously law allowed me to turn that into a profession. But I'm more interested in international law, and my reasoning for because obviously we're a developing state, and the origins of international links very closely to colonialism, and that is something that we experience firsthand and with today. So that is what really sparked my interest, just being able to not only represent people, but also to combat the power imbalances that developing states face.
So you think you can actually achieve this for us?
I mean, definitely not me on my own, but I would love to work towards it at some point or another.
While at Kent, there are a number of great things that you've been able to do. I'm told you were the co-founder of the Afro-Diasporic Legal Network, and you're currently the chair. So tell me a little bit about that work.
Yes, well, the society was initially established in 2019, and our reasoning behind establishing it is because at most other institutions you'd find a law society which is catered specifically to law students, but that isn't something that we had at Kent. So we really wanted to ensure that students here had the opportunity to benefit from that as well. Within the society, what we do is we try to provide support academically, career-wise, and also just support in terms of to ensure that Black people are prepared as much as anybody else for the legal, and to also just push the boundaries for inclusion within the wider community.
You know, you could have gone there and just kept your head down, do these, and be out of there. But you instead decided you wanted to stick back in that kind of way. Where did all this activism come from?
I mean, it's in my blood, you know what I mean? Also, just throughout my education, I felt like at Queen's College, there's always the idea of the Caribbean ideal person. You have to give back regardless of wherever you are. So I've always just carried that mentality with me, just always ensure people are in the best position they can be in.
People know who your family name says it all, and there's the assumption that literally will follow in her father's footsteps into politics. What do you say?
No, you will not see her. You will not see me there at all. Obviously, I'll be very closely interested in international law, but you will never see my name on account. Definitely not.
So this is 2021. We're going to listen to the statement maybe in a few years. No,
stance, it is not changing.
Do you get a chance to continue pressing yourself through the arts while you're there?
Not as much as I would like to. I did do a dance last year, but most of my passions of dance are continued when I return home.
Okay, so we can't wait to have you back to see more of what you do, because you're so good at what you do there too. But while you were there at Kent, you were also the promotions officer, and you helped to raise funds for the Bahamas following the hurricane that passed. How was that? Coordinating all of that, promoting and seeing the results?
Yes, I became the promotions officer literally the school term after Hurricane during the Bahamas. So obviously as Caribbean people, you can't really sit by when you know you have a platform that you can do something and not assist. So we literally did anything you could think of. We did a karaoke night, a movie night, a cooking night, a dance class, a fashion show. We did everything we could to assist, and at the end we did raise a very good amount of money that we were able to send off.
But the response to that effort, I know it's a lot of money, but did it also heighten awareness of the Caribbean and who we are and the plights of the Caribbean?
Yeah, definitely. There's a very big Caribbean diaspora in England, probably as everyone knows. Just the community, the sense of community within the Caribbean at university, it was really heightened during that time.
How was it fitting in the daughter of the Prime Minister, a Barbadian? How was that?
Nobody here knows. I have kept that as concealed as I can, and I think it's really to me.
Oh, very smart that is. But having to encounter people, I mean, naturally in the UK, people know this. That's not difficult. So you just mention it and what we're talking about. But did you also get a chance to be able to share among people about who we are as a people and this island? And if so, tell me.
Yeah, definitely. In all of my classes, I find that a lot of people tend to come and forget who they are or try to fit in. I feel like I've done the opposite. At any instance I definitely mention that I'm from Barbados, and we definitely have different ways of doing things and have different systems. So, for example, within public law, my public law was really interested in our election process and the fact that at one point we did not have an opposition. And that's something we talked about a lot. So yeah, I definitely try to incorporate it as much as I can.
I know you would have done that so well. So what are you doing now? What's the next stage until you actually are admitted to the bar?
Well, as you recently finished my LLB 2 weeks ago, so the next step for me pursuing my bar practice course, which I'm starting in September, and I'm alongside a master's in law, international law.
Leah, where do you find the time?
I mean, I can't say that I'm a master of time management, but I do say that I have people who support me in my endeavors.
That's so good. And I know that it means a lot to you as well. And you have that family support here. And you're literally one of ours, Barbados, that is. You know, and Ireland is supporting you in all of your endeavors as well. Because we see in you great promise, having locked hand in hand with your father and to be able to see you grow into the beauty that you are and that you're able to achieve. And I love the fact that you want to be able to advocate at the United Nations on behalf of small island developing states. Why is it so important to you?
I mean, I can't learn about international law and the disadvantages that's created for developing states and not wanting to help, especially given my background as a Indian. But I've always really been passionate about equality and making sure that everybody is on a level playing field, and I feel like that's where my passion for it lies. Just making sure that developing states aren't put in a negative light by trying to keep up with standards that were already impossible for them to meet in the first place. So that's definitely something I would love to work towards, just trying to ensure that they are put in a better light, if that makes sense.
You know, I can see your father's big, rosy, red cheeks smiling, beaming brightly at his beautiful little girl, Leah. See your mother, Julie, right now, just proud of you. And so, thank you, Leah Arthur, for joining us this morning on Morning Barbados, because for one of our exceptional young people, we sought you, and we're happy to have you right here on Morning Barbados today. We wish you the very best, Leah. We look forward to much more from you.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
You're very welcome. Ladies and gentlemen, now you know what she's up to, where she is, Leah Arthur. You remember her, I know you do. We're going to take a break right here and back with more. "20 minutes now to go to the hour of 8 o'clock. Another exceptional person, because this young man has been on the track and he blazing the track. And then we missed him for a little while. So the question was, where in the world is Rivaldo Leacock? Rivaldo Leacock joins us right now on Morning Barbados. Rivaldo, good morning to you.
Good morning. How you doing, Mr. Pierce?
I'm doing very well. Where in the world is Rivaldo Leacock?
I'm at the University of South Carolina.
How's it going for you?
I recently graduated, so a good experience for me. 4 years here at South Carolina has made me into the young man I am today. So right now I have one more year left in track and field. So I'm going to try to transfer and do a master's program somewhere else.
Well done. You said it shaped you and who you are today. Why do you say that?
Coming to South Carolina, it's a new culture, different experience. Sometimes I heard that, like Layla in the previous, and said that sometimes people forget who they are. So I feel like that's a big factor that plays. So I feel like I incorporated some of the culture that I've experienced along with mine, and I feel like I've become a better person.
Okay, so what elements of culture there in South Carolina that you have adopted?
For example, on my team, I feel like we got a work ethic, so I feel like the capacity to work really high is something that I gain from being here.
But we know you as a man blazing the track. You always had for us a very serious work ethic, winning and winning. And, from a little boy in primary school all the way through, we've been tracking you on the track. You've done so short space of time from the track. Who are some of the people in your stages who've really pushed you to who you are today?
Yeah, so I could start from primary school. So primary school, my first coaches were Brown at St. Stephen's Primary, Mrs. Sandyford. They was ladies we had. And then I ran on a BC track club with Miss Wendy Barrow Smith. And then when I went to secondary school, I trained with Coach Bob and I trained with Mr. Strong. So I feel like those are the most influential factors in my life when it comes to coaching ways. But and they it's all about your family. So I just want to say thanks to my parents, my mother, but my family structure for really putting me with the path to get a scholarship and stuff like that.
So you gained the scholarship, you went to university, and you graduated with a 3.6 grade point average. Well done. Now that's significant, Rivaldo. That's very. Were they there to celebrate with you at graduation, your parents?
Yeah, both my parents were able to come and see me walk across the stage. So that was a great both of your parents there, seeing the hard work that you put in and just cross the stage. So yeah.
What kinds of support did they give to you all the way through while you studied?
I mean, they give me a lot of nights when the work is a lot and you just call them and just just be like, ooh, but give the encouraging words and balancing work, and it's not easy. So sometimes you go to track and you be really tired, come home and you got a lot of work. So they would just give me a lot of help in that situation right there.
So there you are, hoisting the Barbados flag aloft. Where was the occasion?
This was the 2015 Commonwealth Youth Trips, and it was in Samoa. So this is when I had won the gold medal. So that was one of the first international medals I ever had. So this was real special.
Wow, in Samoa, and here you are. This venue looks familiar.
Yeah, that's Curve. That's actually my last Curve championship.
Wow.
Yeah.
But you can see, you're noticing the information in who you were then and who you are now. Are you seeing?
Yeah.
So,
I'm getting old.
I didn't say it. I did not say it. You look the same, looked way back then. So, with all of that said, obviously and everything else would have been absolutely critical to your maintaining such a very strong physique to be able to complete the races that you have been at. What was it like for you in South Carolina, being able to eat to make sure you do the right thing?
See, contrary to what people think, in college, they're basically the cafeteria, for my school, is based on football. So how the American football, they'll be real big and strong. So I feel you gotta be very selective in what you eat because at my school we had a all you can eat cafe. So most people say you gain most people say when you come as a freshman or first year student, you'll gain 15 pounds. And I tell you, if you don't be careful, you can gain a lot of weight because it's just good food.
Yes.
And it's free and it's just all you can eat.
Wow. But you had the discipline within you, though, nevertheless, to ensure that you didn't find yourself gorging in food so that you can be out of shape. You studied.
You got a nutritionist.
Yeah, man. You studied criminal justice. Why that?
When I first came to college, I really didn't know what I wanted to study. So like I just went into criminology at first, and like I started to like it, and I started to excel. So I just stuck with it, and like so that's the reason why I went into criminology.
Mm-hmm. And you know, you said you're going to be moving on to another course of study. What will that be in?
So since we had the corona pandemic, and like I was like working around like people who were dealing with like public health and such situations, I decided that like I feel like something like health education or public health, like anything in the health field, I would like to be interested. I'll be interested in. So I'll try to take my graduate studies in that direction.
Were you always so interested in academics as well as sports?
I would not say like fully. I did academics, but like I feel like as I got to college and I got like older, I just started to take academics more serious. But in my younger days, I was like a young boy, like just running and having fun. I don't think that was like the number one priority in my life.
Yes, yes. Because oftentimes we see the track athlete and we never know the other side of them, the things that they are also doing through their academics. So for us, it's like, whoa, Rivaldo Leacock into criminal justice? We thought he was only into sports. But here it is, you're doing that, and then you're also looking into health as well. So it's really refreshing to know that you are much more than what we would have seen on the track. That's fantastic. Talk to me a little bit now about being a Bajan in a foreign land. How was that for you?
I mean, like for me, like at my school, like I was the only Barbadian on my team. So like, but we had a lot of different people from other countries, like Jamaica, Bahamas, and like we even had some Europeans. So I feel like being like a Barbadian, a lot of people was like excited and intrigued to hear what I had to say, and like my different culture, and they were, on TV they would hear certain stuff. So like they were always asking me if I'm in Jamaica, but like no, I'm not from Jamaica. So I feel like being a Barbadian, it's a good experience here. Like you just give them some of your culture, and you just go on about your day. I mean, like some downsides is like some people will like, I guess like I don't know, judge you or think like they don't understand what you're saying. But I feel like as an overall picture, it's a good experience being a Barbadian here.
What do you miss most about home?
I like conkeys.
Boy, here's your brother.
Like independent.
Yeah.
So I feel like around independence, I'd be like missing conkeys. So like I feel like the main thing that I miss, along with my family, but that's the main thing I miss.
So if you were to land on Barbados right now, where's the first place you'd want to go?
But my grandmother house to get some conkeys.
So that you'd call ahead and say, Grand, I'm coming, get some conkeys, I'm almost there. So that's the grand's house for some conkeys. And so she would naturally perhaps be the first person you'd like to meet.
Yeah, I think so. Like I feel like I got like a new vision of family, and I feel like family is the important part of your life. So like as much time I could spend with my family, like I feel like I need to do that.
Wow. You know, I'm so glad to hear you say that, because family is indeed important. And for me, it's also a big thing. So I'm glad to know that you can't wait to reconnect with your family. You've been able now to mature enough to recognize the value of family and its support system. That's really refreshing, Rivaldo. So it is the conkeys, to see Granny, and which beach do you want to go to?
I mean, like, I don't really think that like, I feel into the beach. Like, I used to go to the beach so often as a child. Like, I just feel like I'm not really into the beach like that. Yeah, I had enough.
Are you still competing on track though?
Yeah, I still competing. I recently ran a personal best about 2 weeks ago. So that's like the highlight right now of my season. So like I'm just trying to continue training. I got like a little slight injury. So I'm just trying to continue training and see. Hopefully I could like qualify for the Olympics, but I got to take care of my body first.
Yeah, for real. Do take care of it, because we want you at the Olympics representing us, Rivaldo Leacock. Thank you so much for joining. We're out of time. We think you are, for us, one of our exceptional young people as well. We will continue to monitor your progress, but well done on all that you've been able to do so far, and we want to congratulate you on that attainment.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
You're very welcome. Rivaldo Leacock, now we know he's in South Carolina, and he's already done his personal best there. He'll continue to represent us very, very proudly, we're sure. A break, and when we come back, more on Morning Barbados.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
8 minutes to go to 8 o'clock. The Springer Memorial School is going to be so proud of this next guest. Her name is Shante Seale. Shante Seale, good morning to you.
Good morning.
You are representing Springer Memorial this morning, girl. You are representing. What does it mean to you to be a student, a former student of that school?
Well, it's a great achievement seeing where I came from, basically came from the bottom, worked my way right up because I knew that I had to make something of my life. I had made something of my family's name, and I also had to represent my country really well if I wanted to come, I was planning to live.
So who are those people that helped you to inspire yourself to make something of yourself as you've described it?
Well, I would say it started with Miss Phillips. She helped me a lot with my growth and behavior-wise. I was not the best of athletes, but she helped me to focus towards what I wanted in life. I also would like to thank Patrick Oxley for introducing me to the sport volleyball and Tanya Joseph for furthering my skills in volleyball along the way.
Wow, and you've done so very well. I see behind you some trophies of your achievements thus far. And so, I mean, in the house alone, it's all over the place, right?
Yeah.
Now, in 2018, you got a chance to head overseas to study. Talk to me a little bit about that.
Well, I originally was trying to get a track and field scholarship because that's where I was more focused at the point. But Patrick Oxley, he introduced me to volleyball, and I started to take it a little more serious. At Springer, we tend to play a lot of sports for our school, saying that we were talented and we were really athletic. So he introduced me to volleyball, and I decided to take it more serious than a normal sport at Springer. And I realized that I was better off getting a volleyball scholarship than I was getting a track and field scholarship due to the fact that I was training more for volleyball than I was for track and field.
And so you got the scholarship, and which university did you go off to?
I went on to JUCO College, Dakota College at Botno, North Dakota.
How was that for you?
It was a little tough going down at the first because it's a really big and new culture. It's a small town, but yet still you have to deal with a lot of country people. We don't have the same type of food here that I had over there, and I also had to deal with different personalities and different types of people than I would rather deal with here.
I understand. But while there, you found yourself suddenly on the Dean's List. What an achievement. Why were you on the Dean's List, and what for what?
Well, honestly, I would say in Springer Memorial School, I was not taking the schoolwork serious. I was more about the sports. But I realized as I moved on and I grew up and I matured that I said to myself that if I want to get further in my sports career, I have to balance both. So I tend to turn my attention a lot more to the classroom, and I knew that with my hard work put in the classroom, less stress on my back about classroom, I will be easier on the court to perform.
Less stress on my back. I just love it when you said that. So who was giving you this? Who was putting this stress on your back?
Myself, honestly. As an athlete, we put a lot of stress on ourselves.
That's so sweet. At least you're honest. But at some point, your light bulb went on and you said, you know what, I need to start paying attention to my academics. And you've done so.
Yeah.
And you've proven this to yourself, and you've proven it to so many people who might have doubted you. And so you were on the Dean's List, and you were able to graduate. What did you graduate with?
Yeah. I graduated with my liberal arts, which is associate's degree, my transfer credits, and I will move on to do accounting at my other school.
All right. So when do you start this new school?
I'm saying August, September. I have not received my official dates as yet, but I would say around that time.
And you're going to be traveling for that as well?
Please, I'll be moving on to the state of Virginia, and I'll be going to school at Norfolk State University.
Did you see yourself being such a global traveler now, though? I mean, when you started as a young girl moving into Springer Memorial School, did you see yourself having the opportunity to move around the world and study and interact with so many different people?
Really, I didn't, because I was playing netball, so I was only saying that I would probably go like mostly Caribbean and close to home. But as I played more sports and as I decided to make more national teams, I traveled a lot of places. I went to Africa. I just traveled the world a lot. So I would really like to thank sports for that.
You are very fortunate indeed. So to those young girls who are watching from the Springer Memorial School, what do you say to them now about staying focused?
Well, it's really tough, but you have to stay focused. don't think that Miss Jones and Miss Phillips and Miss Bess are nagging you. They really know that you could achieve much more than you are giving out, and especially Mr. Dupini, like just saying much means that he knows that you could do better, and he giving you the opportunity to realize that you can do better, and he gonna wait for you to realize that you could do better and pick up your.
So do whatever you can to be better. That's your big thing to the girls at that display. What's the motto at the school? Do you remember?
Members one of another.
Members one of for another? Oh, that's great.
Of another.
Of another. So it's the whole idea of operating as a community and as a team. I know your family is also very strongly behind you. Your father himself being a former national basketballer. And you're also related to our own Mark Seale, correct?
Yeah.
So you really have a full family support. The Seale family, and I remember at the National Sports Council Awards a few years ago, the Seale family was recognized for its contribution in sport. And I know your name was also one of those mentioned because I was there for that. So Shante, there's a lot still ahead for you. What do you want to do next?
I want to finish my 3 years in school playing volleyball and also working on my academics to become an accountant. And I also want to move on to becoming a professional volleyballer and someday coach younger athletes coming up, also to help them getting through college and make something of themselves, not giving up on their talent and their dreams just because it's too hard at some point.
Well done, Shante. Thank you so much. You are, for us, one of our exceptional young people. Congratulations on all your achievements and congratulations in advance for whatever else you're going to achieve as well. So, Shante Seale, thank you.
Thank you very much.
You're very welcome. That's it for today. And thank all of you for staying with us here on Morning Barbados. For the crew, to all of you, we'll see you tomorrow. Good morning.
Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Barbados, get up. Good morning. Good morning, Barbados. Good morning. Good morning to you.